New York is losing over 100,000 people every single year. They're fleeing our state. They're leaving because they don't see opportunity. If you're a grandfather, a father, a mother, an aunt, a friend, you're watching your people you care about, leave this state to find opportunities someplace else. The answer that I always hear is, well, we need more money to be put into these projects here, and that'll make things happen.
What is it actually? It is a way for our elites in this state to reward their friends with jobs yet again, where the corporations actually write the laws and regulations to make sure the little guy can't survive. I want community to make this work, not taxpayer dollars. We can make it better. We can build things again in New York. Of course, locally we can. Thank you.
We have to create a new environment in New York State, a new culture in government. No more stepping in, no more New York losing, no more old money, no more old New York. We need a new New York.
That guy is right. You should listen to him. Hey, everybody. It is 7:30 p.m., a little bit after 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Larry Sharpe here on the Sharpe Way Show. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope that was an interesting video put together by my awesome team. So I'm very happy that you guys were able to watch that and enjoy that. As always, please like, comment, share. It does matter. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Do the things that matter so I can get past the constant shadow banning that I get. It does matter. And as always, support the sponsor of the show, libertarianism.com. Click that link right there. Sign up and or share the link. Let others sign up and see what libertarianism is actually all about. And it's not about what you think. It is about happiness, which is what we should be about. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That is what we are about. That's what I want us to be about here in New York and across the entire country. That's really all that actually matters. So what I want to be talking about today is, believe it or not, President Biden. And I don't do that much talking at the national level about President Biden, but he came to my city this week. So I have to say, hey, what did he talk about? He's going to come save us. And I tease you often, and I say this, how is New York going to become saved? Well, Uncle Joe's going to write us a check. Uncle Joe's going to keep writing us a check. All those things. And Uncle Joe's going to keep writing the checks. Uncle Joe is ready to write some checks. That's not something I'm making up. That's what I was talking about. And man, did he talk about checks he's making up. And there was nothing but bad. It was the same old thing. It was simply, hey, I'm coming to New York so I can give some money away. That's basically what it was. I'm going to give some money away. So good luck, guys, giving some money away. That's basically what happened. So it's a big issue that I'm trying to deal with. And it wasn't as if there was anyone there who actually cared. And that's the saddest part. I wish there were people who were sitting in that event and we're saying, no, this is a bad idea, right? We need to actually change things and make things better. That was not what happened. What instead happened was everyone said, great, can we have some more money? And I want to bring up what actually he was saying here, if I could. I'm going to show you part of what he was talking about. I think you will, you'll get what I mean when I show you. Let me put this up and you'll see what he talked about. He was in my city, New York, and boy, was he pandering to cops like there was no tomorrow. Not that I'm anti-cop, you know that, but man.
Doing here, if I hear one more call from him that we need more money for housing and more money for cops, I don't know. I'm going to send them back to y'all.
Did you hear what? If I hear one more time how much money we need for cops or how much money I need for housing, he said the quiet part out loud. They go up to the federal government to beg for money. He's not kidding. This is real. It's what I keep telling you. No one has a plan to fix anything. They have a plan for the federal government to keep giving them money. That is the plan. The Republicans in New York State have no plan. The Democrats in New York State have Uncle Joe's wallet. That's their plan. You've heard me say it. I wasn't joking.
But all kidding aside,
There's no kidding now.
this is $500 million of proven strategies, and we know will reduce crime.
Okay, $500 million in proven strategies that we know will reduce crime. First off, how do you know it will reduce crime? Nothing's ever worked. And more importantly, it's $500 million.
Congress needs to do its job to pass the budget. Every one of these folks here from Congress are all supportive. But, you know, it's time to fund communities, community police, and the people who are going to protect them.
So, again, it's time to fund community police, right? And communities. So why would it make sense in any way? Why would it make sense that you would say, you know what, we got to fund communities, so call the federal government? This is one of our biggest problems. If you want to fund the community, shouldn't the community be empowered to fund itself? Shouldn't the community be empowered? Shouldn't the community be strong enough to defend itself? Should be. Nowhere near. That's not anywhere near true. And we're not helping. All we do is say, Uncle Joe, write us checks. And then Uncle Joe shows up, and then go ahead.
Look, as I said, we're not about defunding. We're about funding and providing.
I know you are. Oh, you've made that clear. You are all about writing checks. Yes, we agree. Look at that. I agree with Biden on something. I agree that he is all about writing checks. That's true. Okay, see that? I found common ground with Joe Biden. Look at that.
The additional services you need beyond someone with a gun strapped to their shoulder.
See, so when you need services other than police services, what should you do? Call the President of the United States. I'm not joking. Not look into your own community with the groups of people there who know and love you. Not your own family, which we should be strengthening so they could support you when you're in trouble. Not your local church or community or civic group, which we also should be supporting so they can support you. No. That's a bad idea. Don't do any of those things. Instead, call the president. He literally came to New York City to say that.
We need more social workers. We need more mental health workers. We need more people who, when you're called on these scenes and someone's about to jump off a roof, is not just someone standing there with a weapon. It's someone who also knows how to talk to people, talk them down. We can't expect you to do every single solitary thing that needs.
Again, look, I'm agreeing with the president. I'm agreeing. We should not expect cops to do everything. I agree. Cops are just humans. They're just humans trying to get a job done, trying to do what they got to do, trying to follow the law. They're humans. That's all they are. They're humans, right? So why would we want them to do all the cool things? I'm agreeing with you. But this goes back to Bastiat. Yes, I'm using a Bastiat. Some of you libertarians love SME, non-libertarians, I don't know what I'm talking about. Bastiat was a French philosopher, economist, depends on how you look at that. And he talked about the idea that just because I don't want government to do it doesn't mean I don't want it done. I think he's correct. I would like communities to support the people around them. I would. I just don't want the federal government being involved. That's it.
Needs to be done to keep a community safe. It's time to fund community policing to protect and serve the community.
Oh,
it's all.
See, that wasn't happening before. So for the past 200-300 years, that wasn't happening until Uncle Joe came in. Now we're going to finally do it. Okay.
I'm also calling for increased funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
Increased funding for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. What could go wrong, Waco? What could go wrong, Ruby Ridge? I don't know what could possibly go wrong with that. That is a wonderful idea. Let's throw more money at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I have a better idea. I'm going to give you a small idea, a little bit different. President Biden, let's completely end the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and take that money and pay off some debt. I know, crazy. I'm just saying, imagine if you do that instead. Just saying. That's another, or your idea of giving them more money to ensure that they punish more people go to jail for no reason, victimless crimes, validate their, yeah, that's your choice. Mine would be end them completely and then pay off some debt. That's where I'm going. But, 6 in one, half dozen the other.
And the U.S. Marshal's offices. I'm confident that if we fund these programs, we'll see a reduction in violence.
Why? I'm confident if we fund these programs, that's what he said, we'll see a reduction in violence. I would ask, when has just throwing money at a problem solved it? So, let me add up all the times. Okay, carry the one. Oh, right, 0. 0 would be the answer. Never. It has never worked ever. But this time, Uncle Joe's got it. We'll just throw my money at it.
And the next year's budget, I'm also going to try to double down on this investment.
So our economy is trashed. People aren't working. So we're going to throw more money at this problem and then next year double down. We're going to double down. Do we know what the economy is going to be like next year? Do we have any idea how much taxation we're going to bring in? How much money we're going to raise? No. But I'm going to double down anyway because you know what? Money's free. Let's keep cranking it out.
I think I got a lot of partners here in New York going to help. Mayor Adams, you say that gun violence is a sea fed by many rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put forward a plan to dam up some of those streams.
Oh, he's going to help out. Some cash.
You can count on me to be a partner in that effort. And I have the U.S. Attorney, United States Attorney General here with me today.
Oh, good.
We put together a comprehensive strategy to combat gun crime in cities like New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and many other cities, San Francisco.
Oh, this sounds great. I mean, he's going to finally get that plan together that's going to stop gun violence. It's awesome. Love that.
Francisco. First, we want to crack down on the flow of firearms used to commit violence. That includes taking on and shutting down rogue gun dealers.
Those rogue gun dealers. Those gun dealers that are already illegal. Yeah, we'll pass stricter laws on the rogue gun dealers that are already illegal. That'll stop. Okay, so far, killing it.
It's about doing background checks as well as
background checks. That's the cool thing, because all those guys who shot the cops and shot everybody, they all bought the guns legally and didn't. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Don't we do background checks in New York already? I'm pretty sure we do background checks in New York, and I don't think the guy who shot the cops, I don't think he took a background test. I don't think a background check. I think he did. I don't think so, because he didn't go to the store to buy his gun. So how is the background check going to work again? I don't know. Because we need background checks, because then cops won't get shot or something. Reasons.
Outright selling of that, making sure that people who are not allowed to have a gun don't get the gun in the first place. And again,
see, if they're not allowed to have the gun, they won't get the gun in the first place. So the guy who shot the cops, who's a bad guy, and I'm glad he got shot, it's a bad guy. That guy, he was a convicted felon. He wasn't allowed to have a gun. So how do you get the, it's almost like, maybe I'm nuts here. It's almost like this guy thinks that criminals won't follow the law. I mean, maybe, but I feel like criminals aren't going to follow the law. That's kind of why they're criminals. I think that's a direct connection, if I'm not mistaken. So background checks for what? You're going to make sure they don't get the guns? How? By stronger laws? The guys already know. They're aware. If they use a gun in New York State, particularly New York City, but New York State in a crime, they're getting at least an extra 5 to 10 years on there already. They know that. If they're in their 30s and 40s, they're not getting out. They are aware of that. Yet they still have guns. I don't know.
For any of the press listening, this doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment right.
See
There's
that?
no violation.
He loves the Second Amendment.
Right.
None.
You talk like there's no amendment that's absolute.
None.
When the amendment was passed, it didn't say
Yeah.
anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun and any kind of weapon.
See that he's saying that when the amendment was passed, that's what he's saying, didn't say anybody can own any kind of gun and any kind of weapon. Actually, it did. The Second Amendment isn't about guns. Yeah, some of you think it is. It's not. The Second Amendment says the right to bear arms. Arms, which in theory could be, particularly in the 1700s, that could have been a bayonet. That could have been a club. That could have been a cannon. That was all considered arms. So actually, yeah, all of those things were legal when this was passed. He is completely incorrect. That's what it's about, which is why, by the way, an interesting tidbit, in New York City now, you can use nunchucks. Yes, you can. You can use nunchucks if you want to. The funny thing is, you can use nunchucks in New York, and you couldn't before, but they actually had to let you because of the Second Amendment. If you want to be using nunchucks to defend yourself, good luck, but that's your right. I hope you can pretend you're Bruce Lee and beat up the guys who are trying to shoot you. I hope you're that good. It'd be impressive. If you are that good, please YouTube it. I will watch it. So, Mr. Nunchuck, go ahead with your bad self. Anyway, he's wrong on this. Completely wrong with this.
You couldn't buy a cannon.
Yes, you could.
When this amendment was passed.
Yes, you could.
So no reason why you should be able to buy certain assault weapons, but that's another issue.
No, it isn't.
And look, one of the things that we focused on, the Attorney General and I, we're getting to the point where I think we're going to be able to have a real impact on it.
Oh, now we're
going after ghost guns.
Ooh, those ghost guns. Those are the scariest of all the guns, is the ghost ones. And now we're going to take care of the ghost guns. So the ghost guns are super scary. So not only do they shoot you, but they scare you also. Super, wow.
Ghost guns are the guns everyone in this room knows that can be purchased in parts, assembled at home,
right?
No serial number, and can't be traced.
So now, if someone gets a ghost gun, you're going to make it out here. Let me see if I'm going to guess. If you get the ghost gun, you're going to make them pay a harder price, like go to jail longer or something, if they use a ghost gun. Is it? Come on, I'm going to get this right, aren't I?
And they're as deadly as any other weapon out there. But the fact is, they are out there.
Yeah, they are.
You know, this spring, the Justice Department will issue
not next one.
Final rule to regulate these so-called ghost guns.
But
there's more we can do. Across the country, police departments report.
Okay, our governor has already outlawed them. So they're already outlawed. So I don't know what else we could do. I guess you'll just regulate them now. If you regulate them, are they really ghost guns? Like, so if you regulate ghost guns, aren't they no longer ghost guns? Now they're just regular guns. You're taking away the ghost part. In which case, if you do that, then the law that our governor passed becomes irrelevant because then they're no longer ghost guns. You haven't thought this through, have you? Yeah, you have it. It's fine.
Sharp increases in the number of ghost guns found at crime scenes.
Ooh, okay.
That's why today the department is launching an intensified national ghost gun.
It's almost as if people realized that it was becoming harder to get guns through like gun shows and stuff. So they started ordering them and making ghost guns. It's almost like they figured out how it was hard to do it your way and then did another way that's not so hard. And then you left in place the hard way for the legal gun owners to be punished. So now your old way is just punishing legal gun owners while the illegal gun owners went a different way. Huh. Did I read that right? That's kind of like 9/11, where we have all this horrible security for people who are never going to do anything, and the bad guys now do something else. Kind of the same, isn't it?
Enforcement initiative to determine and deter criminals from using those weapons to cover their tracks.
So we're going to deter them from using those weapons to cover their tracks. How? By making it more illegal?
If you commit a crime with a ghost gun, not only are state and local prosecutors going to come after you, but expect federal charges and federal prosecution as well.
So what we're going to do is we're going to spend even more money on your case. So usually we would spend $10,000. Now we're going to spend $40,000 in your case to still put you in jail anyway. But wait a minute. My question is, after he uses the ghost gun to kill somebody, does the person come back to life? See, they don't. So you've already committed the crime. The person is still shot. So what you're doing is punishing harder, which I know feels good. Punishing harder feels good, but it doesn't actually save any lives. It doesn't actually stop the fact that people are going to shoot each other. See, that's the problem. Don't you want to stop people from shooting each other? I'm going to go one step further. I would like to stop people from wanting to kill each other at all. That's what I like to do. Now, that's hard to do, but that's actually something that's important. If you're going to sit together with your attorney general and have these deep conversations and fly to New York, you know what I'd rather you work on? The hard stuff. I'd rather you work on the hard stuff. You're working on the easy stuff. Oh, there's a problem? I'll write bigger checks to that problem. Oh, you came asking for trouble? I'll pass more laws for that thing. That's all we're doing. This is not innovative. This isn't special. This is the same old garbage that always happens and, by the way, always fails.
We've also created a strike force to crack down on illegal gun trafficking across state lines.
So now we're going to have more cops on the roads pulling people over. What could go wrong, Philando Castile? What could possibly go wrong with that stop and frisk? What could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong with that. This is amazingly awesome. What a great deal. We've never tried this. We've never tried more cops before. That's a new one, or is it the exact same one every time?
As the mayor said, as he pointed out, guns that are used to kill people in New York City, they aren't made in New York City. They aren't.
See, if they were just made in New York City, then I'd be okay with you shooting people. But they're not made. See, they're not made in New York City. So that's it. So when you importing these knives from India over here and stabbing people, well, the knives aren't made in New York City. So what is made in New York City? Basically nothing. Almost nothing is made in New York City. So when's the last manufacturing plant you see in New York City? There's a couple, but very few of them. Almost nothing's made in New York City. So I don't know what that makes. I guess it's bad because it's foreign? I don't know.
Sold in New York City. They are sold in other places.
Okay.
Today, the Attorney General directed all U.S. attorneys in the United States to prioritize combating gun trafficking across state.
Right. You should be, you know what? Gun trafficking, number one thing. You should prioritize gun trafficking interdiction for all of them, even though that's not the number one crime. Even though it's not what people are worried about. But it doesn't matter. Don't worry about things like drugs. Don't worry about any of those things. Nope. This is the thing.
Lines and city boundaries. The Justice Department is sending additional prosecutorial resources to help shut down what's referred to, as you all know, the iron pipeline. That funnels guns from shops in states like Georgia to the crime scenes in Baltimore and Philadelphia.
So I want to be clear about this. They're going to shut down the iron pipeline. They're going to stop the guns moving from point A to point B. The question I would ask you is, when have they ever been successful at that? Ever? Hold on, let me see if I can. I'm going to figure this one. Hold on, let me get my phone and pull up my calculator to figure out all the times that they were successful in stopping and things coming across the border and prohibition and calculator. Right, never. Never. It has never worked ever. And when I say never, I mean never. Never worked ever. But this time, we're going to stop that iron pipeline thing. This time it'll work. I say this all the time. They can't stop drugs from getting into prison. There's walls, high walls, barbed wire, men with guns, jail cells, and still drugs get into jail. But you're going to stop all the guns coming through the iron pipeline with some interdiction task force thing. This is fantasy. But it doesn't matter. Remember, the goal of this is not to actually make anything work. The goal of this is to provide more jobs. That's the goal. Remember something. In almost every case, The government is two things: a monopoly and a jobs program. And we are showing that right now, a monopoly and a jobs program. They're spending all this money for what? To create more jobs. Now they get to hire more cops. Yay! More jobs. See, Biden's fixing the economy by just spending random money on stuff that we don't need.
Philadelphia, New York, and so many other places.
That'll stop it.
Governor, you worked with the mayor and the NYPD and 9 other states to create an interstate task force.
Yeah, he did.
On illegal guns.
Did
That's the kind of leadership that's going to solve the problem.
That's going to solve it. If you just have multiple states meeting, problem solved. How can they say this garbage with such confidence? We're just going to have a task force and like 9 people will meet together. Done and done. You know what, guys? Walk outside, keep your doors unlocked. It doesn't matter. Flaunt your money. You can't get shot anymore. It's if no one's going to rob you. The task force has met. So I'm just saying, Tim, don't worry. Flash your cash. Walk out at night all day. Doesn't matter. Come to New York City. The task force is meeting. You are safe.
Let me get to hear more about that progress.
Okay.
Folks, second thing I want to point out is I want to help every major city follow New York's lead.
Oh, all you people watching who are not from New York, all you people listening who are not from New York, you hear me every single show tell you, New York matters because what happens in New York is coming to you. And some of you think, nah, it's not, whatever, I live, blah. No. You heard him just say it. We want to bring this to all the states. Yeah. Yes, it's coming to you. We have to fight it here so it won't go anyplace else. Because if we beat them here, we beat them everywhere. And if we don't beat them here, it's coming to you.
Put together partnerships like this one you put together and
See
meet
that?
on a daily basis. Every
That'll
day
work.
here in New York City, like this meeting today, federal, state, and
Yep.
local enforcement meet to share intelligence about arrests,
See that?
shootings from the day before, and work
There
to
we go.
take those shooters off the street as quickly.
Take those shooters off the street. So like after they've shot somebody, get them, because that'll save lives by, I don't know, because the person's already dead. But we're going to punish them hard.
As possible. Just look around. This was what the partnership looks like.
Like
This is
this.
what you put together.
This is not good. If what New York looks like right now, if that's the partnership, you can keep that partnership. Keep that partnership. No worries.
And it's an important partnership. We need more cities adopting the same model.
Yeah, we do. More
That's
cities.
why today the Attorney General is also directing U.S. attorneys to work with state and local law enforcement to strengthen partnerships like this one and to get repeat gun violence offenders off the street and behind bars.
See, that's the issue, right? After you killed like 3 guys, then we get you off the street, right? That's the issue behind bars. Kill like 3 people. And then, that's what I just said, multiple, then we get you off the street, right? I mean, you kill 1 person, 3 people, okay, off you go. Unless you got a ghost gun. Then you go right away. Boom. Absolutely. And I love the idea of the word partnership. You know what? They love that. Partnership leadership. What do those things always mean? Money and control. Always the same thing. Money and control. Yep. Money and control.
I want more cities and states to use some of the $350 billion.
Why would he want states to use more of that money? Why would he care? Right? I wrote you a check. You do whatever you want. What I want that. Because when you use that money to do the thing, what happens is now you have the thing. And the thing only works for a year or 2. And all of a sudden, now you can't afford it anymore. So what do you have to do? You have to go back to Uncle Joe for some more money. And when Uncle Joe says, sure, I'll give you the money, but now you have to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I don't give you the money. And if I don't give you the money, all those jobs go away. When the jobs go away, you look like a fool. Wait a minute, Larry. Has that ever happened before? Yeah. The other bill he put together, the crime bill of 94. That crime bill he put together funded 100,000 cops for 2 years. Then after those 2 years, there was no more money. Yeah, the Republican Senate wasn't going to give him any more money. No more money was coming for that anymore. That was the end of it. Sorry, now what do you do? Well, I got all these cops. How am I going to pay for all these cops? I know. Civil asset forfeiture. I'll kick in people's doors and take the money. I'll take the money out of their cars. I'll basically turn my cops into pirates. I'll force my cops to become a profit center when the cops don't want to be a profit center. That's what I'll do. And that's what happened. So this has happened before. That's why he wants you to use the money. Because once you use the money, now he's got you.
We sent to them on the American Rescue Plan.
Yes.
To fight crime, to keep our communities safe by hiring more police officers for community policing and paying police overtime.
Now, if you're a cop and you're getting overtime work from Uncle Joe, just saying, I'm not mad at you if you like that. I wish Uncle Joe wasn't doing that and you were working and gaining overtime in the way that you're supposed to get overtime. That'd be awesome. I hate the fact that Uncle Joe's giving you overtime because you're more apt to go, thank you, Uncle Joe, because he's giving you overtime pay. I get it. I hate it, but I get it. So he's bribing them and bribing the cops and bribing the cities. And you wonder, why do people keep voting Democrat? Because he keeps giving them money.
And purchasing gun-fighting technologies like the technology that hears, locates gunshots, so there can be immediate response.
Just something that locates gunshots. That could never be used to spy on citizens, ever.
Because you know exactly where it came from.
See, and you know where the shot comes from, so you can rush out there and collect the dead body quicker, I guess. The person's already dead. They've already been shot, but I guess you'll collect their body faster. And traffic it's going to help out traffic as you can get the body out faster. So this thing helps move traffic, I guess. The person's still dead. Nothing you have said stops the person from being dead so far. You've been talking for minutes, saying how you're saving lives, keeping us safer, yet nothing you've said, not one thing, has shown in any way that the people won't still be dead. How are you saving lives?
The third thing our plan calls for investing in critical services that reduce crime and violence. Community violence intervention programs like the one I'm going to see after this meeting.
Community violence intervention programs. Again, those work always. I don't need to get my phone, do I? Yeah, never. Those also never work. What are those? Jobs programs. These are literally what he's announcing is jobs programs, which is fine, but at least say, hey, hi, I'm Joe Biden. I don't have any plans. I can't fix anything. But you know what I can do? Write checks. And I can write lots of them because I'll just have the Fed print up trillions more money. So I'll just do that. You guys will all get jobs with no real metrics of success at all. We'll just keep paying you. And you guys could vote for me because I paid you and I bribed you to vote for me. I would respect that more. I'm not joking. I would respect that more because that would be honest. He'd walk up and go, guys, I can't help you. I'm incompetent and the government's incompetent. However, I got money, lots of it. So I'll write a bunch of checks, get you guys a bunch of jobs, and they'll be easy jobs. They'll be, no one will keep track of success or not. And if you fail, we'll just give you more money. So failure is totally an option. So whatever, you'll like it. You'll get cool, cushy jobs, pensions and stuff, and just vote for me because I bribed you. I'd be like, oh, all right. At least he's honest. I would respect that more.
Summer school, after school programs for teens.
That's what it is. Because people who want to shoot people, what they're thinking is, if only I had a summer school. If I had summer school, I wouldn't shoot that guy. You're right. Summer school's the answer. Midnight basketball. Remember that one?
Yes. As the saying goes, the teacher taught me, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
That's true.
We got to have things for these kids to do.
We got to have things for the kids to do. He is correct. So option one would be motivating the community and supporting the community into coming up with ideas and plans. Having more vibrant communities so that people would have jobs available, that people would have economies that are moving forward, people would have more disposable income, so that people would make things, little cool things that whatever the people like. Do they like putt golf? Do they like movie theaters? Do they like go-kart races? Do they like town fairs? Whatever your people like, you could do a bunch of that. Or you can say, We don't have anything to do. Let's call the president of the United States. The president of the United States is talking about having teenagers doing stuff in local communities because that's his job. It's in the Constitution. It's in the Constitution, okay? Matt, it's in the Constitution. It's like, it's this fine print. It says the executive shall make sure that kids have summer school. It's in there. Stop. Don't question me. It's there. You didn't read it well. Read the Constitution again. You'll find it.
Jobs for young adults,
Oh,
more
okay.
school counselors and nurses.
See, if we had more school counselors and nurses, because you know what people do before they shoot somebody? Sit and talk to the school counselor. They're like, I'm going to shoot this dude. School counselor goes, I'm busy. Well, if you wouldn't have been busy, I wouldn't have shot that guy. Never happens. They're not in school. How do I know they're not in school? How do I know? Because you shut the schools down. That's kind of how I know they weren't in school. Because if anyone has any kind of COVID issue, they sit home for 5 or 10 days. And they know that. So they can't wait to get COVID so they can not go to school. I'm not joking. If you have a teenager or kid in any city school, I do, or had, they've now gone, in any city school, who once time off, they literally want to get COVID. I'm not joking. This is real. If you have kids in school, you know I'm telling you the truth. They want to so they can stay home. They won't go. They can't wait to get, who got COVID? I'm going to hang out with them. They want it. They know it's not going to hurt them. They know that because they're teenagers. So they're going out, getting it so they can stay home. That's not a joke. That's a real thing. So I know they're not in school because they're hanging out on the corner because you can give them an excuse and then they hang out. So I got kids with no job because you closed all the economy, kids with no school because you closed schools. I wonder why they're off shooting people. You know what it is? More cops. Ghost guns. Ghost guns.
More mental health required in school and mental health substance abuse treatment as well.
Oh, that'll help.
Fourthly, when someone finishes their time in prison,
Yeah.
all our experience tells us you just can't continue to give them $25 and a bus ticket.
Our experience knew that, give or take 50 years ago. But okay, I'm glad you finally figured it out. Better late than never. Okay.
They'll end up under the same bridge you arrested them in the first place from.
Always grabbing people on the bridges.
So I
It's
don't
true.
want them ending up back in prison.
Okay.
Or being there because they've committed another crime.
Why else would they go back to prison? Is there another reason you go to prison? Okay. Maybe he just thought people randomly go.
You need to be able to train for and get a job.
You see what I'm saying? We got to train them and give them jobs. That's the thing. So simple. Just train them and get them jobs. Done deal. Why haven't we thought of that before? Oh, wait, we have for decades, and it never works. I am shocked on how none of this works. The Republicans are the party of no plans, and the Democrats are the party of terrible plans. That's what I have in my state right now. That's my state. Republicans have no plan. Democrats have bad plans. Boy, we're rocking and rolling. Or I'm going to give you a crazy idea. Or you could give incentives for small businesses to hire felons. Many of you have watched me cross this state. And when I do, I very often go to diners. Diners are a big deal for me. I love diners. I love diners for many reasons. One, they're almost always owned by someone locally, which is great. They're family owned often too. And they're small businesses and in the communities. I love it. So I always want to put money back into the community to the best of my ability. So I go out of my way to be at diners. And very often, if any of you have seen me or been to one of my events, I very often will ask the owner of a diner. I'll ask them right to their face, hey, have you ever hired felons? Every single time they say yes. That has been 100%. 100%. They hire felons. That's who hires felons. Small businesses. That's who hires felons. Entrepreneurs. That's who gives people second chances. Entrepreneurs and small businesses. So why don't you, instead of trying to, we're going to train them to go to big business literally has systems to push out felons. They go out of their way to not hire felons. So why would you train them for those jobs? So they can get rejected, feel worse about themselves, and go back to a life in crime? That is insanely dumb. It has never worked, still will not work. So instead, give the small business owners, give them incentives to hire. Way better. How about if you hire a felon, no payroll tax for 2 years? But Larry, then these people will hire felons every 2 years and never pay payroll tax and fire the felons every 2 years. Good. You're training my felon population. That's awesome. And for the low price of no payroll tax on them versus the price of $40,000 to $100,000 per year to put them up back in prison. I will happily lose those 2 years of tax so that you can train my felons.
Find stable housing, re-enter society, and have a second chance at a better life.
Yeah.
My Department of Labor is funding programs to help formerly incarcerated individuals.
Funding programs. This is all writing checks. That's all this is. We're going to fund programs because programs work exactly. Oh, right. Never.
Individuals, including young adults, receive the education and training they need, and then connect them to quality jobs.
You could do that. That'd be one thing. Or you could realize that there are kids who are 26, 27, 28 years old with $100,000 in debt, and they don't have quality jobs. You're going to connect them to, or did they have to murder somebody first? Or should they rob a bank maybe? That's Paula, that's the answer. What they should do, they should get the degree, then rob a bank. Then when they leave the bank, Uncle Joe and his people are going to hook them up with a job, training in a job. That's the problem. See, that's where all these people have been messing up. They just go to college. You got to go to college, then rob a bank. Go to college, not go to a liquor store. Now you got it. Perfect.
I'll keep doing everything in my power to make sure the communities are safer, but Congress needs to do its part too. Pass universal background checks.
Because that'll do it. We've discussed it. Doesn't mean anything. But yeah, let's do that. Pass universal background checks so those people who want legal guns will have to jump through more hoops. It won't affect the people who want illegal guns because they don't get background checks. But you good people who want guns legally, we're going to teach you a lesson.
Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
See that? If you would just ban the oh, wait, New York, they're already banned. In New York, they're already banned. Yet that guy had one. He had a 40-round barrel magazine, but they're already banned. It's almost as if he's saying criminals don't follow the law. Ooh, am I reading him wrong?
Close loopholes that keep out of the hands of domestic abusers weapons. Repeal the liability shield for gun manufacturers.
Yeah.
Imagine had we had a liability. They're the only industry in America that is exempted from being able to be sued by the public.
Okay. There's a couple reasons. Don't get me wrong. I'm a libertarian. I don't mind people suing. I don't at all. I'm a libertarian. I don't mind people suing. But he acts like it's so insanely crazy. They're the only people who can't be sued. Okay. There's reasons. One, they're in the Constitution. So that does make them special. They're in the Constitution, right? So that's something, right? The guy who makes soap is not in the Constitution. The guy who makes guns kind of is. So it makes him a little special. But you might still say, Larry, that's not enough. Okay, I'll buy that. Second, their product is meant to kill. That's what it's supposed to do. So when it kills somebody, why would you sue? I'm being serious. The gun is supposed to kill. That's what it's made for. So when it does that, you want to sue them? That's like saying if I have a razor and it shaves, I'm going to sue you. Why? Because it shaved. Didn't you buy a shaver? I did. Did it shave? Yes. I'm suing you. Why? Because it shaved. So I'm not sure that works well, if that makes any sense, right? I'm not sure you can do that. If you have, Andrea says, so sue a car manufacturer for a deadly accident. If it is a flaw in the car, then you should sue the manufacturer, right? If it's a flaw, if you crash, you crash. But if the car's brakes don't work or something, makes sense. If the gun randomly goes off, which sadly some people think guns randomly just go off, if the gun actually was a real ghost gun and was, I don't know, inhabited an actual ghost and the ghost made the gun go off, okay, sue the gun manufacturer. Why are you selling guns with ghosts in them that shoot the guns off randomly? Fair. But because the gun does its job, you're going to sue the manufacturer? Is anybody lying about the guns? Right? He always brings the tobacco companies. Is anyone lying about the guns? Anyone saying, "Oh, guns"? No, they're not deadly at all. No one's saying that. Point a gun and fire to somebody. Nothing happens. Nobody's saying that. In fact, the people who are most about guns, who care the most gun people, they are all about respecting the power of that weapon, respecting the power of that firearm. All about it.
Only one. Imagine had that been the way with cigarette manufacturers. Where the hell would we?
You can't sue cigarette manufacturers because when you smoke comes out. You sue them because they lied, and that's fraud, and you should be sued for fraud. That's a crime, right? So if you are a fraudulent person, that's a crime. Gun manufacturers aren't going, gun's totally safe. They shoot people, they'll get up and walk around. Nobody is saying that. In fact, they're saying the opposite. Have you seen gun commercials? Have you watched them online? They're saying the opposite. They're saying, look how deadly this thing is. They are literally saying, this thing's deadly. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where the heck would we be? We'd be in tough shape. Why gun manufacturers?
I just explained four
because
reasons.
Of the power of their lobbying ability.
Well, that
It's
too.
gotta end.
But how about pharma? They're a bit more powerful. Pharma's more powerful than that. Just saying.
End.
Can't sue vaccine companies, can you? Oh, I don't know.
Got to be held responsible.
Yeah, they do, those vaccine companies.
They're irresponsible.
Yeah, they
Folks,
can't be.
You know, it's
Oh,
the
he
only
means guns.
industry in America, as I said, that's exempt from being sued.
Not the only one.
And I find it to be outrageous.
You just lied. That's
And
fraud. We
folks,
should sue you.
These laws, if we are able to pass them, are going to save lives.
How? He just said, folks, these laws, if we pass them, are going to save lives. How do things written on a piece of paper, which is what they are, I'm going to write this down. You hear me writing stuff. Save lives. How, Larry? I said so. I have declared that this just saved lives. What'd it do? Lives saved. Because I said so. That's what he's saying. There is literally no proof of what he said that would save a life. None.
And more equally importantly, help you protect one another and protect yourself.
It's going to help us protect ourselves. How? He just says stuff. Hochul's the worst. Hochul just says completely stuff that makes no sense whatsoever and just says, it's true. He's the same way. It's going to help you protect each other. How?
Law enforcement in a safer circumstance.
Oh,
we have an
safer
opportunity to come to
circumstance.
get together and fulfill the first responsibility of government and our democracy.
First responsibility.
Keep each other safe.
That's not the first one. That's not the first one. The first responsibility of government is to protect our rights. That's kind of in our founding documents. He's never read them. He doesn't know. He's probably forgotten. I'm sorry. I probably too much. The first thing we're supposed to do, the first thing government's supposed to do first is to protect our rights. That's kind of in our founding documents, right? The first thing is if government is to exist, it is to protect those rights, the inalienable rights. Remember that? That's in the founding document thing remember that thing you probably studied, I don't know, years ago? You ever remember that? Called the Declaration of Independence. Remember that? It talks about that, I think. You forgot. It's fine. Take my word for it. It mentions that right up front. Like right up front. It mentions that. That's the first rule or the first reason to have government, which is established by the governed. With the consent of the governed. Yes, the consent of the governed. That's what it's about. I think I got it right, didn't I? I think some of you are going to probably correct me. I probably got my words off, but it's from memory, so I apologize. But anyway, that's what it's about. So I think you're wrong on that. But Kathy Hochul is the same thing. My number one job is to keep New Yorkers safe. Okay, if that's true, you've been doing a terrible job. We're getting shot left and right. This whole thing's about how bad you are. We're getting shot left and right. You're doing something wrong. So you might want to stop that one. Plus, you made that up. You made that up. That's not your first job. Nowhere in the New York State Constitution, nowhere in her oath does it say her job is to keep every New Yorker safe. It just isn't. She literally just said, I'm deciding that's my job. So the next time you go to a restaurant and the server comes over and says, hi, my name is Phil. I'll be your server. I'm going to be teaching you Mandarin today. And they go, what? I'm teaching you Mandarin today. I said, why are you teaching me Mandarin? You're the server. I am. And my job as server is to make sure you know Mandarin. He made that up. So did Joe. Made it up.
So I want to thank you all. There's much more to say, but I probably already said too much because a lot of people are going to speak. But
you did.
Let's
you
get
said too
this
much.
done.
Yep.
Let's get this done. And God bless the men and women who put their lives in line every single day to keep our communities safe. Now I'm going to turn it over with your permission to the Attorney General Garland.
Oh, he's a disaster. Do we have to watch him?
Thank you, President Biden.
Oh,
As
my
the
God.
President said, the Justice Department is doubling down on the fight to protect our communities from.
Why is his mask on? He's 6 foot away from each of them. He's a vegan or vegetarian. Vegan, I think, right? Isn't he a vegan? Vegan or vegetarian? One of the two. Vegan or vegetarian. He's in good health. He's in good physical health. He's 6 feet away. Why are you wearing a mask?
Violent crime and from the gun violence.
Neither of those two guys are.
But we are not doing this work alone. As the President also said, what you see in this room represents the core of our efforts.
So what you see in this room represents the core of our efforts. I would ask you, where is that community they keep talking about?
Our partnerships, which are essential to success in disrupting violent crime.
What? They have to. You guys have seen me campaign. 4 years I've been doing this. I campaigned for a year and a half. Did over 300 events the last time I ran. Never used a piece of paper. Did 3 debates, no paper, no notes. These guys can't say anything without notes. Not a thing. I don't mean notes now. I'm going off memory now.
Yesterday, when the President and I spoke with the mayor on the telephone,
he had to look to read telephone. Yesterday, when the mayor and I spoke on the telephone,
the mayor talked about the importance of the excellent cooperation he is seeing between the city, state, and federal law enforcement agencies who are represented here.
Look at that.
At the Justice Department, we know that the best anti-violent crime strategies are tailored to the needs of and are developed by and in partnership with individual communities.
So it's about the communities then. Okay, great. So why are you involved? I love that. And you've known this forever, which you just said, forever. So
that is why all of our Justice Department law enforcement agencies and all 94 of our United States attorneys' offices, including the 2 represented by the United States attorneys who are here today,
we are good to go,
are working with their partners in state and local law enforcement to develop and implement district-specific anti-violent crime policies.
So if you need to develop district-specific anti-crime policies, number one, why do we have to do this? Why do we need federal oversight? Why? We don't need any of this, do we? You know what we do need, though? We need Joe's money.
We also know that while many of the public safety challenges our cities face require this tailored approach, gun violence is a universal challenge and one that demands comprehensive action.
It's funny. Gun violence isn't on the rise everywhere. So maybe it's not universal?
That is why, as the President said, the Justice Department is taking action to crack down on ghost guns.
That'll work.
Hold those who illegally sell firearms to criminals accountable.
Now, hold on. If you illegally sell a firearm to a criminal, isn't that already a crime? Because you're selling the gun illegally to a criminal. Hear what he just said. We're going to hold people accountable with new rules if you illegally sell a gun to a criminal. Clearly, that's already illegal. Your words say you are illegally selling the gun to the criminal. So the person knows they are illegally selling the gun to the criminal. They recognize that if they get caught by the police, they will go to jail. They recognize it in New York State for a long time. So what are you doing? I'm going to go with nothing, except
that is why we are
jobs.
Strengthening our firearms trafficking strike forces.
Oh, the strike forces.
To disrupt the pipeline that floods our community with illegal guns.
That's true. I mean, the good thing is when you put more people on, putting more cops on the street, stopping people randomly, nothing can go wrong.
And that is why we are sparing no resource in identifying and holding accountable the...
We're going to spend all your money. That's what it means. We're going to spend all your money. All of it. So Joe was like, I'm going to have some extra money this year. No, you're not. Steve is like, I'm going to go spend some cash. No, you're not. Garland's taking your cash and giving it to the road pirates to come and stop people and get the ghost guns and the pipeline thing. He's doing that. So you don't get to keep your money. Sorry, Joe, ain't working.
Repeat offenders who are the major drivers of violent crime.
They're going to get the repeat offenders. So again, after you've killed like 2 people, they got you.
As we work in partnership with state and local law enforcement, we are also working in partnership with the communities most affected by this violence.
The communities now. Okay, this part I like. So where are the communities here? How are they making this happen?
Shortly, President Biden and I will be meeting with leaders of a community violence intervention program.
A community violence intervention program. So they're not dealing with communities. That's a lie. What they're dealing with is new programs. And whenever you hear program, what you should think of is jobs program. We're going to make new jobs in communities. It's not going to work, but we're going to bribe people to pay us, to vote for us. We're going to bribe people to vote for us. That's what we're going to do. It's not going to make a difference at all, except some people are going to have jobs. Those people still actually might get shot even. Hopefully they won't, but if they do get shot, they'll have a job with life insurance. So it'd be better if they get shot. And we'll have that technology so we'll hear the gunshot early so we can get the body faster, keep traffic moving. So this plan is perfect. What could go wrong?
In New York. In 2021, the department provided over $37 million in grant funding.
$37 million in grant funding. You should hear that as $37 million in bribery. That's what that is. $37 million in unnecessary jobs programs. $37 million that didn't work at all. That things are still terrible, but some people got jobs. Again, I wish they would just say, we're just buying jobs, guys. We don't have a clue what's happening. We have no idea what's happening. We're just going to buy some jobs and hopefully you'll still vote for us, which is what's actually happening. Just say it. We can't fix it. Well, Larry, you're so smart. Can you fix it? Yes. Yes, I can. The reality of this is when there's large amounts of violence, it is always, every time, 100% the black market. That's how it actually works. We set up an environment to support the black market so the black market would grow. And the black market's growing. As the black market grows, there's more violence. That's how it works. There are always going to be bad people in any community. That's why we need cops and jails and things, because no matter what, there's going to be a level of crime. There will also be crimes of passion that will happen because we are human beings and we'll do stupid things and we'll hurt others because we're humans. I hope as little of that as possible, but even that was going to happen. So we need cops in prisons and jails and such in courts. Totally fine with that. That's how it will work. However, how do you get increases in this violence when you don't have an increase in bad people, right? The same number of bad people exist before and now. So how do you get an increase in violent crime? Because the bad people are able to recruit not so bad people, lost people, broken people, confused people. Why are they lost or broken or confused? Because the environment that we've created. We've taken a bunch of young men and said, you don't get to go to school. You don't get to go to work, stay at home, and don't make money. Lay around and watch TV all day and feel useless. And then here comes bad Pablo, or bad Johnny, or bad whoever, right? Bad Johnny shows up and says, hey, you want to feel like a man? Come on, tough guy. I got work for you. I'm not joking. That's what actually happens. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. If you grew up in a bad neighborhood, you know that's exactly what happens. Those words are obviously different. But whatever the words of the day are, they walk up and go, I got work for you. Come on, tough guy. Show me how tough you are. I got some work. And he's like, I ain't nothing better to do. I feel like a loser right now sitting around watching Netflix all day. All right, let's go do this. And before you know it, they're deep. They start lightly, and before you know it, they're deep. Now, Larry, what kind of work are we talking about? All black market work. Because the pipeline, right, the supply line is broken. So now all goods are more expensive. If all goods are more expensive, it's worth robbing them because the payoff is high. So now I can rob people and rob stores. You see them robbing stores, robbing trains. You see it everywhere. Why? Because it makes sense. The value of the goods are high because of the black market. I can sell them on a black market, make tons of money. But it's a problem. There's a problem. Me and Joe have agreed to make a deal. I'm supposed to give Joe $400 for some stuff he stole. He takes it, gives it to me. I don't give him $400. I go, I'm not giving you $400. Call a cop. And I walk away. What's he going to do? He can't call a cop. He'll go to jail, stolen goods. It's the black market. He has no court system. What's he going to do? He's going to grab his buddy Steve, grab a bat, and come take action on me. Street justice, and get his $400. That's what he's going to do, or get his property back. One of the two. Take that and expand that 1,000 times. That's the black market. That's why there's more violence. End the black market, and you will end the violence. Well, the increase of violence. There'll always be a small amount. The increase of violence. Larry, how do you know that? You know why? Look what happened after Prohibition. Prior to Prohibition, it was rare that a cop was shot or killed. It was in our country. Prior to Prohibition, it happened, but rare. During Prohibition, cops got shot all the time. Look at the stats. Huge. Cops were shot all the time. Why? The amount of money and energy was worth it, and they would gamble shooting cops. What's happening now in New York? You go back a couple of years, cops never got shot in New York. I mean, rarely. I mean, it happened, but we have 40,000 cops. Maybe one cop every 2 years got shot. It was rare cops got shot in New York City. Now, cops get shot. Why? Black market. President didn't mention black market. AG doesn't mention black market. Nobody brings up black market. That's not how it works.
Directly to community violence intervention efforts.
We just give $37 million.
Expand that work in the year ahead.
Look at that.
The Justice Department will use every tool at our disposal to protect our communities.
There we go.
We will hold perpetrators of violent crime and gun violence accountable.
Great. We're going to hold these people accountable. I love that. So then how does it stop the person they shot from still dying?
We will work alongside the communities most affected by that violence, and we will work together to build the public trust that is essential to public safety.
Didn't answer the question at all.
Before I close, I want to note that in times of crises, both large and small, the American people look to law enforcement to help.
That's true.
And every day, officers, like those who are with us here, answer the call without hesitation.
That's true, but you haven't given them any reason to believe that they're going to have a less chance of getting shot, right? What he's saying is true. Cops do it, put a lot of life on the line. And now in New York, worse than ever. If you go back 10 years, being a cop in New York City wasn't that dangerous of a job. It was a hard job, but it wasn't crazy dangerous. Now it's dangerous. It's a dangerous job. He's right. People are shooting back now. This is Prohibition times. The cops in New York are they're shooting back now. That didn't happen 10 years ago. Now it's happening. So he's right. So what do you do to protect the cops? Well, nothing. Once they shoot you, cop, we'll punish them hard. The cop still shot.
Despite the difficulty and the danger, they show up and they put their lives on the line.
So what are you going to do about it?
That is what Detective Jason Rivera and
Oh, now you're
Detective
pandering.
Wilbert Moore did.
Stop pandering if you're not going to help.
There are no words I can offer that could capture their bravery or the pain that has been inflicted on their loved ones.
Okay. I don't mean to be mean here at all. He's right. It's horrible if you lost somebody. It is. So stop pandering if you're not going to do something to make it better. All you're doing now is taking advantage of their deaths. If you're going to pander, okay, then do something to make it so less cops get shot, right? That should be your thing. If you're going to do the I care and love cops thing, okay, great. Now don't just go love cops and we're just going to punish people more. That's not helping.
What I can say is that the Department of Justice, we will seek to honor Detectives Rivera and Mora in the work we do to help keep our law enforcement officers safe.
How?
As we work to keep our communities safe.
You said nothing.
I'll now turn the program over
to
Mayor Adams.
We're just going to punish them harder. That cops still die. The people who shoot them just get punished more.
Mr. President, it's really good seeing you.
Oh, I don't want to talk. All he's going to do
here,
is
when I was in Washington, D.C.,
he spends all his time just kissing the president's butt.
Me into the Oval Office.
I got to tell you, I am thoroughly disappointed in him. I didn't think he'd be a great mayor. I didn't. But I thought he'd be a better mayor. I'm surprised how often these people disappoint me. I didn't think Biden would be such a bad president. I thought he'd be a regular bad Democratic president. I didn't think he'd be that bad. Wow. Has he gone out of his way to be bad? This guy, Eric Adams, I really thought he'd be better. I thought he'd be better. And I guess as soon as he got into power, he has been starstruck. All he does is kiss the butt of the governor, kiss the butt of the president.
What could he do for the city?
I mean, look, I get the president, regardless of who the president is going to be a larger-than-life figure for most people. I get that. I do. But you're the mayor of New York. It's the largest city in the nation by double. No city in our country is even close. You are the most powerful mayor in the largest city in the country. You shouldn't be that starstruck.
And our desire to deal with violence, I had a brief nod, and I was about to walk out. And he grabbed me by my arm.
So he turned
me around and looked into my eyes.
Give me a kiss?
He says, Eric.
Oh, sorry.
What can we do?
Okay, it's fine.
And I told him the help we needed. And I asked him several things, but two of them was one, to come to New York and to speak with our city, state, and federal law enforcement personnel.
So you said, we're in trouble. So what I need you to do is show up and be starstruck.
So we could have a 9/11 response to this violence.
Do you really want to have a 9/11 response to this violence? Is that really what you want? The 9/11 response wasn't great. 9/11 response got us 20 years in Afghanistan, got us an totally unnecessary war in Iraq, give or take 25,000 wounded Americans, and about 8,000 killed Americans, 25,000 wounded Americans, $2 trillion in debt, at least if not more, and a bunch of laws that allows the federal government to spy on us, to spy and kill its own citizens. That was the 9/11 reaction. You want that? We got a problem. That's a problem.
We came together as a country when international terrorists decided to change our way of life.
No, they did not. That's a lie. International terrorists attacked us and killed almost 3,000 of our people. We decided to destroy our way of life. That was us. None of them came over here and changed our laws. None of them came over here and put down the smackdown on us like you did. So that's a lie. They did not change our lives. They attacked us and killed almost 3,000 of us. That they did. That's correct. They knocked down 2 iconic buildings. That's correct. And New York City, New York State was so freaking broken, they couldn't just rebuild them. They had to put the garbage Freedom Tower that we have now with a massive memorial, which is nothing but a memorial to our failure. It took us 11 years to build that thing. That's how embarrassing that was. 9/11 response is the worst response. You should be ashamed to say that. I never want to have an 9/11 response to anything we've ever done, ever again. We should learn from that and never do it. Not go, we need to have that again. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no.
And we responded.
Terribly.
And the response was the same by this president. In August, this room came together. Some of the finest men and women in law enforcement. And they meet every day to zero in on the violence that is attempting to take our way of life.
It's not happening. There's no violence attempting to take our way of life. There's violence trying to put revenge upon us for the things that they feel. But no, that's not it at all.
For your response, and Mr. President, I thank you for your response.
He is just kissing that butt.
To go on the ground, because it's about intervention and prevention. Prevention are the long-term things we need to do.
Okay, end the black market. I gave you the answer. Let kids go to school. Let people run their businesses. Stop shutting everything down. Give people opportunities. Change our completely dog garbage vomit system of education. End that stuff, and maybe we'll be okay.
I asked him to go on the ground with us to meet the crisis management teams, the everyday people who are doing the hard work.
The everyday people who are now getting paid with new government money.
In alignment with the police department. And today, we're going out to Queensbridge and meet that team.
There we go.
A young man named Kay Bain is using his skills to bring down violence. And in his area, we saw 0 homicides for a period of time. But it was not only
we saw, hear that? And in his neighborhood, we don't know what that is, we saw 0 homicides for a period of time. I'm not saying what period of time it is. I mean, it could have been 5 minutes, but it is definitely a period of time. We saw 0 homicides for a period of time. Did you hear that garbage you just said?
Because of what he did.
Because of what he did. And what that was not report homicides. He didn't report any of them. So we had none for like 6 hours.
Because
amazing.
Of what DA Katz did to partner with him by bringing down those known violent offenders. That's the combination we need. And I'm biased, Mr. President, because I have some of the best congressional delegations here.
Oh my
in New
God!
York.
Now he's kissing the congressman's
Joining us
butt.
today, we have the dean of the delegation that's here, Congressman Nadler.
Oh my God, Nadler.
Congressman Hakeem.
We have
Jeffries,
the entire butt kissing row coming.
Congresswoman Grace Mean.
All right, I'm going to zip past him, and I'm going to go to someone who I can't stand, but that's okay. I'm just going to move on if I can. Let me see if I can go to. There we go. Okay, now we're going to go to the governor. His was just a bunch of more butt kissing. That's all it was. I mean, not that they won't.
This book is going to show you how to buy real estate for.
We can buy real estate here. I probably should have not be looking at ads. Anyway, she'll go. Oh, now she's going to come kiss a butt now. Tell me how much you love the president too. It's a mic. You've seen them once or twice.
Can you hear me now? All right.
There we go. Well done. You're good.
Mr. President, life is all about showing up.
Oh, there we go.
On a day when you had to deal with an international incident where the rest of the country was riveted on the news that was coming out of the White House.
Yeah.
You still found the time to show up.
See that?
To me, that is a commitment that we'll not take for granted. It's more than just words. It's a sign of your desire to really be a partner with all of us.
See that?
I am.
It's a sign of you being a partner. And every time you hear partner, it means I'm writing you a check. So it's a sign of a commitment that check you promised is actually in the mail. Awesome. All that is just, yes.
With the mayor of New York and with our district attorneys and the New York State Police and the NY.
All right. I got to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to take some comments. I want to keep showing you how bad this is, but it's only so much punishment that I think we can all take. So let me just keep going if I could. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going. Robert says great clip. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes. That clip was put together by the team. I appreciate the work that they've all done. That's awesome. Yes. Dave says, question, will new New York be built on top of old New York? I don't think it has to be, Dave. I think the new New York really is much more of a mindset change more than anything else. I really think that's what it is. We make the mindset change, New York will be fine. That's what I really think. Yes. Doug says the ad made not far from my house. Oh, I like that. I'm glad. Yes. I was, as you know, I crossed the state, so I take, lots of videos from all over across the state. And so that was a splice of all the things I always say. The thing, and all of those things that I said, no notes. I just said what I felt in the entire thing. I said what I felt. Absolutely. So, Facebook lost $234 billion because they shadow banned libertarian voices. I'm not kidding. You may not be wrong, Tim. They've been getting their ass hammered and they don't learn anything. People are leaving. Why? Yeah, that's why. Absolutely. So, Michael says, yeah, I have a question. I'm sorry, Michelle says, yeah, I have a question. How is he going to fight and trace ghost guns? With those special cool task force that are going to come in and, I don't know, pull people over and stuff. Actually, with your money is what he's just going to use your money and give people more jobs. Yes, that's all. Shelley says, I think if New York wants to know what Biden will do, we should ask Chuck Schumer. There we go. Yes. Doug says the Republicans in Albany a few days ago suggested to bring the death penalty back, but only for cop killers. See, this is the problem with the Republicans in New York State. This is the problem. And this is not the same for all Republicans. Depends on what state you're in. I can speak for New York State Republican Party. They are just talk. And the reason is they don't have any plans. They know they can't win. Don't ever plan to win or control anything. So they just go, we're going to do symbolic stuff. The Republicans become just, in New York State, they're just like virtue signalers now. They don't do anything. So they do that, right? We're going to bring back the death penalty for cop killers. Cops are still dying. That's not impressive. What too many people aren't getting is because of what they've done in the past. In the past, people acted like being a cop was super dangerous. And in the past, it was very difficult, but it wasn't super deadly because most people didn't shoot back at cops. They had a challenging, difficult job, but in New York State, it wasn't crazy dangerous. That has changed. Now you've seen it. People are shooting back at cops. That's a massive difference. Now the cop's job is not just hard, but now super dangerous too. That wasn't common 10 years ago. That's a relatively new thing. Last couple of years, people have been shooting back at cops. That hasn't happened before on a large scale. Now it is. Law enforcement is getting shot at now. So you have to do something to stop that. Not to just punish the people who shoot cops more. That's not helpful. But that's what they do. I'd like no one to be shot, to include cops. I don't want cops being shot, and I don't want everybody else being shot either. Let's create a world to where less people get shot, period. Yes. So, Tim says, I wish you weren't 100% correct. Me too, Tim. Me too. Yes. So, all right. Brian says, let's flood the White House with calls, not for help, but for liberty. I like that. Yes, I like that. The Scientific Libertarian 2.0 says, Biden supporting another crime bill sounds like an idea that would never backfire in any way. No, what could go wrong, right? Biden's crime bills are always awesome, aren't they? Yes. And 9/11 reactions, perfect. Every time works perfectly. Never gets us into 20-year quagmires that are $2 trillion boondoggles. That never happens ever, except every time. But yeah, I got you. Yes. So, all right. Michael says the ATF should be abolished. Agreed. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Shelley says, I have to tell you that no one stops jumpers than the NYPD. The APA cannot sanction their methods. I think you mean NYPD is good at stopping jumpers? Is that what you mean, Shelley? Maybe. I like it. If that's true, then let them do that. Right? If cops are good at that, let them keep doing it. Right? And in fact, if they're that good at that kind of thing, why wouldn't you have a special force with the cops who do that? I love the idea. I love it. I love it. Rebecca says, let's keep funding the drug war because that's been working so well. Every single thing they said was that. Yes, was that. Lewis says, I like your idea, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Let's see if we go. Matt says, on a side note, My son was working on a class assigned paper about how the first Democrat, Andrew Jackson, was such a great president. Well, you could find good things. How about that, Matt? Was that a good diplomatic answer? You could find good things. I mean, he didn't like central banking. See? There's some good things. He was brave. Right? So, he won the battle of New Orleans. See, Matt? It's good things. I guess. Whatever. There we go. There are good things. All right. Tim says it's an investment. Isn't it always? It is an investment. Yes. Dave says a Democrat law and order isn't the racist type of law and order. A Democrat law and order is more of a kinder, gentler, and less racist type of law and order because Democrats are in charge. That's true, right? When Biden says it, I guess it's nicer. So when they pull over Philando Castile and shoot him, they'll say, I don't know, equity, and then shoot him. Is that what they'll do? Maybe. Maybe that's it, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, you're right. So, all right. Joel says ghost guns so scary. They are ghost guns, Joel. So they are scary because they are ghost guns. Yes. Doug says Operation Fast and Furious. Yeah. What could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong. Absolutely. Dave says, what about combating all crime? What about combating all violence? That's way too hard, Dave. But you're right. I agree with you completely. I don't want anyone. This is the thing that drives me crazy about people who are so worried about gun violence. Is they say you can't have these assault weapons or these guns. And what I say is, oh, so you're totally okay with us killing each other. You just care what weapon we use. No, yeah. So you're more righteous than me because you care what weapon you use when we kill each other. I would like us to not kill each other, but you're the more righteous person because you're like, knife, fine. It's beat someone to death, fine. It's all good. I mean, why do you think they're not worried about spousal murder? By the way, spousal murder. Do you know that about 2/3 of all spousal murders, it's almost always the woman, like 90-some-odd% is the woman, or lovers, not only spousal, lover relationship murders. About 2/3 are not a gun. And most of them involve alcohol. That's true. That's a fact. That's true. So why aren't we banning alcohol, I guess? I don't know. Right? I mean, that's a real thing. I would rather us not want to kill each other. Period. That's a better way of doing it. Let's focus on the things that make people violent. Let's focus on the things to where someone says, I think the best answer is to hurt someone or kill someone or abuse someone. Can we change that? Yes. And that's way harder. It's why I talk about happiness all the time. The happier people are, the less they will hurt. It doesn't mean they won't hurt. It's not going to erase violence. But you've heard the saying before, hurt people hurt. If I'm hurt, I want to hurt others. If I'm not hurting, I don't want to hurt others. Yes, Dave, you are correct. Yes. All right. Matt says, I'm pretty sure everything I'm teaching him about Andrew Jackson give him a bad grade. That's why I'm homeschooling my daughter. We have to worry about that. All good. Yes. So, yes. Dave says, I thought we had background checks. We do. That's my point. We do. Yes. 100%. We do. Kirsten says, just so I have this straight, the guy largely responsible for the misbegotten 1994 crime bill that contributed so much to mass incarceration is now amping up overcriminalization again. Thanks, Democrats. Way to go with the criminal justice reform. I could not have said that better, Kirsten. Thank you. I'm probably going to steal that and give you no credit. But, you'll just know if you hear me say it, that it's yours. But I'll give you no credit. I'll just take it, act like I said it. It's going to look really cool. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes. That's right in the money. Right in the money. Yes. So, all right, let me do this again. All right. Dave says, if they are not allowed to get a gun, criminals won't furnish weapons through legal means with these laws. Yes. So now they go, man, I was going to buy that gun and shoot that guy, but it's illegal. So I'm not going to do it. Oh my God. I guess I won't shoot those guys now. I was gonna. Dan says, these speeches are like resumes when applying for a job in the federal system. You can put any nonsense you want as long as you insert keywords, tougher sentences, background checks, Second Amendment, get tough on crime. I agree. If you notice, many of them spoke and said nothing. Every one of them said they were going to save lives, yet not one of them had any single idea that would actually save a life. Not one. What they had is, we'll create more jobs, which is fine, and we'll pass stricter laws so that when people get hurt, we'll punish them harder. That's what they just said. We're going to make some jobs for you, millions of dollars. Here's some jobs. And the jobs will have literally, you know this, no metric for success. None. And if they feel like they don't work, they'll just give them more money. If they don't have enough money, they'll beg the government for more money, or they'll start using law enforcement as a profit center. They'll start making fines and fees to pay their salaries. So they have to, someone has to pay for the salary. So I guess, Dan, you and me, we're paying. What else? Yes, what else? So, all right. Paula says, what won't Joe do to look more brown and black people up? Oh, I think she means to lock. Yeah, I think you mean lock. But yes, both would be true. Yes. Gene says, Second Amendment is about being allowed to defend yourself. Yes, that's correct. Yes. And it doesn't say guns. It says arms. It doesn't say guns. The Second Amendment is not about guns. It's about arms. All of them. And the nunchuck law is proof. I really hope somebody wants to do. Rebecca says nunchucks are cool. You're not wrong. They are cool if you know how to use them. I'm just saying, if it were me, my personal preference, look, libertarian here. You want to use nunchucks? Good on you. I hope they work. I would rather not use nunchucks if someone's got a gun. But again, if any of you are nunchuck experts and you will use the nunchucks and like knock the gun in a guy's hand with your nunchucks, please YouTube that. That will be amazing. I hope you could do that. Like somebody comes at you and your nunchuck his head or whatever. Awesome. Please do that. I will so watch that. I'll put on a show. So nunchucks all day. I'm not doing it. So yeah. Anyway. All right. Let me see if I can keep going here. Grab a couple more of these. David says, I'm needing a new pair of nunchucks to be badass like the Kung Fu Hillbilly. I do love that. If you do that, David, I mean, just so good. So good. Yes. I love that. All right. So I keep going here. So Paula says, oh, hold on. What I got, Paula? There we go. Does a ghost gun come with Scooby-Doo in the Mystery Machine? Oh, I like that. Yes. That'd be awesome. I love that. We would have been able to rob that liquor store if it wasn't for these crazy kids. Yes, we could have done that. So yeah, that's the problem. Michelle says maybe they haunt you too. Possible. That's an extra crime. That's an extra crime. Absolutely. Tim says gun control always punishes law-abiding citizens anyway. You're right. You're right. Matt says, I just want to stay here publicly. I'm planning a boat trip with all my guns and assorted parts. Wish me luck. Yeah, I hope you don't have a accident. That would be terrible. 100%. That would be terrible. Kirsten says, the scary rhetoric is so manipulative. Back in the 1990s, the chosen rhetoric was super predators. I remember that. Yes. Was it Hillary? Or was it Biden? No, it was Biden, right? Who said super predators? One of them did. Yes. He's just doing the same thing here, repeating the new phrase ghost gun over and over and over again, because it's the magical ghost guns. That'll do it, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Luther says, and that's why I did not want Biden. And I say that as a registered Democrat, an advocate for crime bill, ideas that make matters worse, a vice president that arrested innocent people and targeted families for not sending children to school. And in 2024, I'm voting again Biden in the primary and then vote a third party. That's funny. I like that. Well, hopefully we'll have a good libertarian candidate for you to vote for, Luther. That would be nice. I hope so. Yes. All right. Matt says, oh, please, Larry, Biden can't take care of the easy stuff. There is zero chance he can handle trafficking, the difficult problem. You know, I want to bring this up, Matt, because maybe you're right and he can't. Maybe he's just not able to do so. I'm actually okay with that. Why doesn't he find a team who can? Do you guys think I write all my own policy? Do you think I do all my own stuff? I can't. That video you guys love, I didn't do that. Right? My team does that. I wish I could do that stuff. They're better at it than me. They're better at it. I'm good at this, so I do this thing. I can't do all the other things. But if you're going to lead, the goal of leading is getting people who are good at other things to want to help you do the right thing that they all agree upon. Getting everyone together with different ideas, concepts, skill sets to achieve one goal. That's good leadership. So, excuse me, even if you're right and Biden can't handle it, then he should be a good enough leader to get people in who can. Give them credit where credit is due and push the issue so that people can get it done. I don't expect him to know everything. I don't know everything. I don't expect anyone to know everything. But I expect the leader to find the people who do know it. There are people who could take care of all these things. They exist. Why isn't he finding them? Because I can just write a check and there's no punishment. I'll just write a check and I'll still get reelected. So why work, Matt, when I can just write a check? And that's what people are doing. They're just writing checks. Who has to work? I'll just give away more free money and done. Yes. Rebecca says we need more American-made stuff, though. That's true. You're not wrong, Rebecca. You're right. We do need more American-made stuff. That's just not why people are being shot, right? They're not being shot because of that. Well, maybe to a part. There's a little bit. You may have changed my mind on this one, Rebecca. You may have changed my mind on this one. There's a little bit people getting shot because there aren't good manufacturing jobs. So, okay, not 100%, but there's a chunk that, yes. Okay, yes. Got it. Yes. Dave says, but a Democrat stop and frisk isn't racist. You know what's funny? This is the part that, and again, I'm bothered on two levels with the cops being shot. Because all of a sudden, two cops get shot and everything's okay now. This is like 9/11. The two cops being shot is like Twin Towers going down now in New York City. Now everything's okay. Stop and frisk is okay. Doing whatever, it's all okay. And look, I don't want the cops to be shot. Of course I don't. But if I'm the mayor or governor or whatever, I'm not going to try to just hammer people. I'm going to try to make an environment where no more cops get shot. I don't want my police force being shot. That is a terrible thing. That should not be happening. So instead of going, well, we'll just stop and frisk more or we'll just be meaner, now we're going to put cops in more positions where more of them will be shot. How do I know that? Prohibition. When you started having cops raid places, people started shooting back. It was worth it to them. They didn't respect. And here's what gets worse. And I brought this up before. I lived through Serpico era in New York City. Some of you who are old enough remember that. There was a very corrupt police force in the late 60s, early 70s. Very corrupt. Far more corrupt than any of the police force we've had since then. Not even close. The police force we have now is squeaky clean. Squeaky clean compared to that police force. Why? Well, the drug money. Eventually, the black market becomes so lucrative that now they can just blackmail and or bribe cops. That's the next step here, by the way. You shoot the cops, then eventually you don't want to shoot back and forth anymore. You start bribing the cops because you have so much money. Because you keep the black market going, it becomes so valuable that literally you'll do anything. You'll literally, threaten to kill cops' families, stuff like that. That happened. That was in The Godfather. That was in The Godfather. That's how that was a thing. You're going to go back to that garbage? No. Change the environment. Let's not have cops be shot. Let's not make the black market so valuable that people doing things like that. No, that is a terrible idea. So I can't stand the fact that, now cops are shot. Now let's just be mean. No. Cops being shot should be in your head. Oh my God, we got a problem. That wasn't a thing 10 years ago. That's been getting worse these last couple years. And now it's really bad. Let's not get harder. Let's get smarter. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So yes, we should be working on all of those things. So, all right, let's see if I can grab a couple more of these. I appreciate all the stuff you're bringing up here. Brendan says hookers should be legal. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Just not my priority. But yes, sex work is work, right? Absolutely. Pimps are fraudsters and bad. So I'm not a big pimp fan at all. But if you want to be a sex worker, I wouldn't call them hookers. That's kind of a derogatory term, unless they want to self-identify as, in which case they may. But sex workers work, whatever you like. So David says Serpico was a pejorative in the mid to late 70s. Who are you trying to be, the next Serpico? Yes, that's right. You remember, David. See, you remember. That was a bad time. I don't want to go back to that, right? I do not want to go back to that. Curses says companions. I like that too. All good. Whatever term that they prefer, I'm good with that. Absolutely. Yes. So Elaine says, if you keep saying, if you repeat a lie enough times, people believe anything. Yeah. David says it was Hillary was the super predator. Yes. Thank you for that. I wasn't sure if it was Biden or Hillary, but I remember it was one of those two. Yes. Absolutely. Yep. Rebecca says nunchucks are illegal, but tasers aren't. Doesn't make sense. I agree. You should be able to have a taser. What people don't realize is when it comes to bearing arms, whether those are tasers or nunchucks or whatever, is it's very often an equalizer for people who have smaller stature or weaker, either because of age or illness or something like that. You know, there's a increase in Asian crime in New York City, particularly. Some of that is not Asian. Some of that is they're seen as being stereotypically weaker. That's it. It is very rare in New York City, unless it's gang violence. Gang violence is an exception. Without gang violence, for someone to randomly beat up a big black guy, that's rare, right? That's rare. Why? Because the image is he's big, he's strong. It's a stereotype. He'll fight back. He may have a gun. Those are all the stereotypes that we have in our heads. So when someone is in that frame of mind where they want to commit violence, they're angry or mad or schizophrenic or whatever is the issue in their head, they fall back to stereotypes. Stereotype is big black guy, scary. That's stereotype. Small Asian old person, weak. That is their stereotype. That's what they do. You think I'm making it up? Do your own homework. You think I'm making it up? Do your own homework. Simple Google search will show this to be true. So they fall into that mindset of what they believe is weak or what they believe is strong. And the reality is, just because you're black or white or Asian doesn't make you stronger or not. Just because you're physically bigger doesn't make you stronger or not. It is blatantly on stereotypes that we've created in our heads that people are using when they commit violence. That's one of the reasons why most of the people, so many of the people, have been older Asian people. If you go into the bad neighborhoods, the people who are knocked over, older people, moms with kids, because they believe these people are weak and won't fight back. The thugs are looking for easy targets. That's what they're doing, looking for easy targets. Again, that is how it works. So let me ask you, what if some smaller framed, older Asian man is in a bad neighborhood, lives there, and two thugs decide they're going to go take his cookies, whatever. He turns drawers down, puts a bullet in one of them. The other one runs away. What happens now? Does every older person now have to carry a gun? Nope, not at all. Now the thugs know that guy might. He might have a gun. Maybe I don't want to rob him. Maybe I don't want to rob him because I might get shot. Maybe I don't want to rob him. It changes the entire game. Firearms are equalizers many times. And I think we should realize that. They aren't all bad and evil and killing people. They're also equalizers. I mean, think about it. You're a smaller statured woman. You have a large statured boyfriend. You break up or get divorced or whatever. He's been abusive to you. You're afraid of him. What will New York State do? Well, you should get a order of protection. That's great. So when he kills you, he'll go to jail longer because he broke the order of protection. That's what'll happen. But if you can get a firearm and he knows you have a firearm, he might not kill you. He might not kill you. You might kill him first. And if some abuser wants to kill you and you kill him first, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. That's what I'm saying. I would like no one to die. But if that's how that has to work out, I'm not mad. That's all I'm saying. So yes. Anyway, Shelly says, if we didn't think Asians need protection, people wouldn't get off my lawn. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Kirsten says, hiding behind a piece of paper is such a comfort. Exactly my point. Yes, exactly my point. Thank you for that, Kirsten. I do appreciate that. Absolutely, I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Let's see. Dan says, how are your cat reflexes, Larry? I know it's bad. Joe says, I really dislike Nadler. Nadler was the worst in this. I'm not going to show it because some of you will throw up. Nadler actually said, seriously, he said this. He says, we have to do everything via executive order first, and we'll see if we can get it into law. That's what he said. That was like, laws are for chumps. Legislation for idiots. We have a king now. Just do your edicts, and we'll just like on the back end make them laws. He actually said that. And for those of you who know him, you're not surprised. For those of you who don't know him, you might think I'm joking. I'm not. Go back and watch it if you want to, if you can. He actually said that. Yes, it's terrible. So, all right. Michael says, vote Larry Sharpe, guys. Like, comment, and share. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. He's absolutely correct. Yes, 100%. He's absolutely correct. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Elaine says, you make a lot of sense. I was chuckling at your points because they agree with my ideas. I'm an independent. You mentioned education system. Do you have plans to meddle? I do in the homeschool community. Yes, I do. I am currently a homeschooler. I know. So yes, I absolutely support private schools, support homeschooling with a stipend to let people actually go to where they want to go, teach the way they want to teach, and make their kids happy. I have an entire K through 10 plan. If you care, head over to LarrySharpe.com. Hold on. I will give you if I can find it here. LarrySharpe.com. If you want to help out, you can always donate. But LarrySharpe.com, click policy. You'll see all my policies there, to include my K through 10 plan to help support and change schooling in New York State. I will have more coming up here soon. Also, that is not the only one. I will have many more policies popping up here in the coming weeks. So thank you for that. I hope that answers your question at least. So yes. All right. Let me grab a couple more if I can here. All right. Let's see. Tim says, now there was actually even worse than that. He is bad. He absolutely is bad. Absolutely. He's terrible. Yes. So guys, I want to say thank you so much for all the time you gave me. Please head over to libertarianism.com. Share that link if you haven't shared it already. Go there, take some of their tests and quizzes. Get some cool swag. It's awesome. They have great swag. They support the show. They're our sponsor. It helps out tremendously. Like, comment, and share. I hope you enjoyed the show. I try to make it funny so you'll enjoy it, because if it's not funny, this is torture. Yes, I have to watch all of these. I watch all of these. Every time they come out, I watch them and I cry. But I have to watch them. I have to know what they're saying, what they mean, what's going on, and read through the lines. And I'm trying my best to show you what they actually mean. The things they say and what they actually mean. And you know I'm right when I say it. You get it. That's what he actually means. So you get it. I don't want you to be fooled by the rhetoric anymore. It's important that you get it, and that the lies they tell you, lies. Sometimes lies, sometimes euphemisms. Depends on how you look at that. But either way, misdirection. So that you understand that when you're watching this stuff. I have to watch all of these and network news and all the things. I do it so you don't have to. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you all very soon.